Our next speaker is someone who does just that. Sara Kershnar is a co-founder of the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network and an anti-racist activist. IJAN has chapters in US, Canada, UK, Spain, and Argentina, and organizing political education campaigns and actions in support of Palestinian self-determination and right of return and against Zionism, a colonial apartheid ideology.
Thank you. Okay, so I had a PowerPoint, but I'm not going to do that. So first and foremost, as both of you spoke to, and as you just spoke to, Noda, is that what we're trying to do is create that space and broaden the platform for Palestinians and other anti-colonial, anti-racist struggles to be able to speak truth around not only Palestine, but the nature of colonization and apartheid worldwide, and deflect some of that backlash. A lot of what IJAN does is not get into debates with Zionists. Because, honestly, even with liberal Zionists, we don't believe that you move people that way. It's the conditions and the strength of the struggle that does that. I do think groups like JVP engage in that way and have been effective, but they've been effective because Palestinians and other anti-Zionists have pressured them to move towards anti-Zionism while building that base. And so you need, in a different way than you said, Norda, you need that accountability, right? And so the tricky balance we're always trying to find is how do we use our voice as anti-Zionist Jews who are multiracial to broaden that platform without recentering Jewish voices. And sometimes we get it wrong, and most of the time we get it right, hopefully, but sometimes we get it wrong. And that's where our relationships and our points of reference who are Palestinian, who are Black liberation fighters, that's where they hold us accountable. And that is important because so much of this fight, there's of course the material nature, and we're involved in many campaigns. I was involved with Block the Boat, as was IJAN coordinating committee in Oakland, and right now we're very involved in the fight against the attack on ethnic studies and critical race theory by Zionists, because the Zionist strategy is to attack the core of anti-colonial, anti-racist struggle in order to take down the power that the Palestinian struggle gains from and gives to, which is all anti-racist, anti-colonial struggles. And that has always been their struggle. In the same way that Zionism isolates and exceptionalizes itself, it also tries to isolate the Palestinian struggle. So a lot of our work is to bring it back together. And I'm unfortunately gonna have to leave early, which is why I'm kind of out of order, sorry. Because a lot of my work is backlash and defense. That's what the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network has really done a lot of. So very briefly, like everyone has spoken to, we're not trying to go tit for tat or even engage on the terms that Zionists set forth. We have to create not just our own news, which is very important, but also our own narrative and way of thinking and talking about this, so we don't let them take it. And so some of the ways that we've done that is, I'll just briefly talk about three main ways. One is we actually worked with American Muslims for Palestine and organized a 13-city tour across Europe, Canada, and the US called Never Again for Anyone. And we did that with a survivor of Auschwitz, Hayo Meyer, who was anti-Zionist. And we had him speak with other survivors of genocide everywhere he went, so we weren't exceptionalizing or prioritizing the Nazi genocide, but he was also saying, my history and this number on my arm doesn't belong to Israel. It belongs to the Palestinian struggle. It belongs to today's struggles for genocide. And those are the ways that we try to use the sort of privilege and power of certain anti-Zionist Jewish voices to clear space for, first and foremost, Palestinians, but other anti-racist, anti-colonial struggles. Another thing that I'll be talking about next is we did a very exhaustive report on Israel's worldwide role in repression. So it's reframing it. Make Israel defend itself. It has been involved hundreds of people's struggles the Israeli military and government has taken down. It does it with the US, it does it with Europe, but Israel's doing a job all over the world, and it field tests that job on Palestinians in the same way that the U.S. field tests that job largely on African Americans, but immigrants and people who are indigenous. So it's constantly reframing it. Another piece is, of course, we spend a lot of time doing education on the misuse of the Holocaust for political purposes. And so we've been working with Liberated Ethnic Studies. We just put on a webinar, and we're putting out a curriculum that is an anti-Zionist version of the Holocaust curriculum that's mandated in 10th grade. And we're taking that back. It's an anti-fascist struggle. Again, the aftermath is what we have to address now, and Palestine and Palestinian liberation is a big part of that. So a few other pieces here is that another really important piece has been to organize actual defense. So for instance, literally about 20 years ago, we came in to support San Francisco Women Against Rape. Right after 9/11, they included Zionism as a form of racism that they will not participate in and stand with Muslim, Arab, including Palestinian women, Zionist organized, and threatened to sue the city. And so the city froze the contract of this rape crisis organization for and by women of color for expressing their political determination. It took us 9 months, but we not only won back that contract, we won an expansion of it. And the way we did it is we didn't hide, we didn't try to negotiate behind the scenes. We said, okay, we want to do a public discussion, and we want all the city board of supervisors who agreed to this freeze to be there. And we reframed the whole thing as economic coercion. Are you saying that funders get to determine the politics of women of color because you give them money? Is that what you're saying? Do you get to define what safety means for them? Is that what you're saying? And so that's how we did that. 20 years later, Black Organizing Project signed on to block the vote. Once again, a funder says, we were going to give you 5 years of funding at $300,000, but I just got a call from the Jewish Federation that said I can't do that if I support Jewish people because the Black Organizing Project is anti-Semitism. So we worked on a strategy with them. It's not just messaging, it's like the base building part, the strategy. And we got 30 other Black and POC organizations to engage in, you are engaging in economic coercion. Our struggle is our people's struggle, our community struggle. You cannot dictate. We don't want your money if you're going to dictate it. And all of these 30 organizations are going to give money to this organization if you take money from that organization, because our solidarity is more important than your coercion and more powerful. And so she didn't withdraw her money. But it's those kind of ways of not allowing them to set the terms and for us to set the terms. So I'm just going to close because I won't be here for the backlash part. I was also the executive director of the National Lawyers Guild in the Bay Area and a longtime member, not a lawyer, a legal activist. But one of the main things I do with them is really focus on digital security and doxing defense. And we did organize a specific 8-part series on movement security for different parts of the Palestinian struggle, and I wonder if we want to redo it because we work with these amazing digital activists who really can help with some of that.
Is there a resource we can point to?
Yeah, we have videos of it. I'll try to send it to organizers so that you can distribute it. So I will pause there. I'm going to have to go downstairs soon. I'm sorry I can't stay to hear all of you. What I've heard so far is so fortifying. And I'm we create a lot of materials, and these were infographics bringing back the Zionism is racism of the UN Conference Against Racism, where we also had to fight an ideological battle, and they also tried to say, see, Palestine is undermining Black reparations and the anti-apartheid struggle by drawing so much attention and conflict. They do it all the time, so that's what we have to stop. Here's these, I'm going to leave them here, and I thank you all. And I have 10 minutes anyway.
Do you have more for downstairs?
Should I take some of them
Downstairs,
downstairs?
and we'll distribute the rest.
Okay, I'll just leave a couple here.
Yeah, because there's not as many people here.
Okay.
All right, thank you.